That's life.
That's life.
Joker, directed by Todd Phillips, is more than a dark character study. It's a cinematic work influenced by classic art, cinema, and social commentary. In this video, we'll explore the visual and thematic inspirations behind this Oscar-winning film.
Back on top in June, I said that's life.
That's life.
And it's
Joker's grim depiction of Gotham draws heavily from the realism of Edward Hopper, capturing isolation and despair in urban life. Hopper's Nighthawks, with its haunting, lonely figures, parallels Arthur Fleck's Alienation. Meanwhile, German Expressionism, with its distorted, shadow-filled imagery, inspired the psychological depth and visual style of Joker's world, evoking a sense of madness and disintegration.
Maybe my next life.
Joker's cinematic DNA is deeply rooted in the work of Martin Scorsese, particularly Taxi Driver and The King of Comedy. In Taxi Driver, Travis Bickle's descent into madness mirrors Arthur's, both characters struggling with society's indifference. The King of Comedy focuses on Rupert Pupkin, whose obsessive dream of becoming a comedian foreshadows Arthur's tragic attempts at humor. The thematic parallels between these films shape Joker's exploration of mental breakdown and social alienation. The political chaos in Gotham is a crucial element of Joker. Arthur's story unfolds against a backdrop of civil unrest as protests and riots escalate around him. This imagery visually echoes the turmoil of Picasso's Guernica, which symbolizes the destruction and suffering caused by war. In Joker, Gotham's collapse reflects the breakdown of social order, where violence and chaos become the norm. But there's also a more personal, visceral connection. Mantegna's The Dead Christ, 1480, is a striking depiction of human suffering. The extreme foreshortening of Christ's lifeless body confronts the viewer with raw mortality, just as Arthur's beaten, downtrodden form embodies the suffering of the marginalized. Like the dead Christ, Arthur becomes a tragic figure, both pitied and feared, as he rises from obscurity to become a symbol of rebellion. Arthur himself becomes a reflection of the anger boiling beneath society's surface, much like the figures in Guernica. He's not merely a villain, but a representation of society's frustration with inequality and injustice. The protests in Gotham aren't just a backdrop. They are central to the film's critique of social collapse and the failure of systems meant to protect the vulnerable. One of the most poignant moments in Joker comes when Arthur watches Charlie Chaplin's Modern Times. The iconic roller skating scene plays in a theater full of Gotham's wealthy elite, oblivious to the suffering outside. This moment is a nod to the way Chaplin blended comedy with tragedy, using humor to highlight the struggles of the working class. Arthur's own attempts at stand-up comedy reflect this same blend of humor and despair. Like Chaplin's tramp character, Arthur uses comedy as a shield against the cruelty of the world. However, while Chaplin's tramp elicits sympathy, Arthur's comedy is met with rejection and mockery, deepening his alienation and accelerating his transformation into Joker.
hello, it's good to be here.
The film's striking color palette, the bold greens, purples, and reds of Arthur's costume, plays with traditional clown imagery, but also borrows from the unsettling work of artists like Francis Bacon. His distorted, vivid portraits inspired the chaotic, raw emotional power of Arthur Fleck's transformation into Joker. These vivid, violent hues reflect the turmoil and madness brewing within Arthur. By blending visual art, cinema, and social commentary, Joker transcends the superhero genre to become a piece of modern art. Arthur Fleck's journey from a failed comedian to the symbol of chaos and revolt is a reflection of the darkest parts of the human condition and society. Through its nods to artists like Francis Bacon, filmmakers like Scorsese, and movements like Expressionism, Joker becomes a complex, multi-layered exploration of identity, madness, and social breakdown. That's the beauty and the terror of Arthur Fleck's transformation into Joker.